So, what kind of role did the store play in your childhood? Like, tell me about growing up with your dad working there. Was he working there a lot?
Oh, now I'm going to cry.
I am co-owner of Lexington Hardware, fourth generation. My dad loved work. My dad's life revolved around work. If my dad had a bad day at the store, we were probably going to have a bad day at home that night.
I loved working there until I didn't. I worked with my dad, so there was daughter-dad fights that I would end up screaming, leaving, and being a teenage girl. He didn't always love it.
I always worked there on and off throughout my whole childhood. So I started there in '94, the year I got married, and been there ever since.
My relationship with Lexington Hardware is I'm a partner with my brother-in-law, who what I consider my brother actually. He is the second most important relationship in my life after my wife.
Steve had his own business, and it started like going downhill. My dad and my brother decided to ask Steve to come into the business. It was an amazing opportunity.
I run the construction division of Lexington Hardware, so I'm out in the field every day, scheduling work, construction, maintenance.
A lot of families can't work together. So we have built something that really has worked for us. He trusts me to do what I need to do. I trust him to do what he needs to do. And it really has worked out great for working with family.
Have a good day.
Everything is the family. When it comes to the store, it's family. It just has to work out. There are no options.
I remember driving in the morning and listening to the radio and hearing that there was a fire on Lexington Avenue. And my first thought was, this is going to really impact my commute, and I was annoyed. And the more they talked about it, I realized it was us. It was a devastating day all the way around.
The whole Lexington Avenue is closed, and there's probably 6 fire trucks out there, ladders drawn, hoses everywhere. I legitimately dropped to my knees and just broke down crying that life is over. That's it. There's no coming back from this.
And it was like an impossible thing to believe that was happening. This is 3 families that depend on this one business. It was devastating.
If you lived in the building, you lost what you had. If you lived in any one of the apartments, you lost everything you had. You didn't walk out of there with a pair of underwear. Everything was gone. And I actually remember we had an Asian couple in the building. They didn't speak a lot of English, good tenants. And I remember my mom being outside with them, and they didn't know what to do. And they actually just lost everything. And I remember my mom making phone calls, like just trying to get them set up somewhere to be that night or for the next couple of nights, just till they figured out like what they were going to do. Nothing.
The vendor that was supposed to rebuild the building went out of business, and we ended up having to do the work ourselves. So it was a challenging project and the biggest, most expensive construction project to date that we've done. I would say it took at least a year and a half to get the building back up and running.
We didn't even close the store. The store was open the next day, doing whatever we had to do. It was ridiculous. We were still waiting on people. All the water was coming straight through the store, right into the basement. People supported the store. As much as I hate people, I will say they did support the store, and there was loyalty during that time.
I know it has to go. It can't go on to the next generation. It's just really, really too difficult. And not because of anything we did. It's just the way the world has changed.
8 businesses on my block alone, between 61 and 62, have gone out of business. Even since I took over, we're the only ones that are still there. So, yeah, I'm proud of that.
And the truth is, being in your own business is incredibly stressful.
It's not just a store. It's not just what we do for a living. This is part of our lives.
I think if we could get out being healthy, because not a lot of people have done that out of the 4 generations, I would be happy with getting out healthy. We've had a hard couple of years now, so to be able to do that and be able to just live kind of how I'm living for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be that devastated to sell it.
The business has given us the opportunity to do things. It's kept us very close. I wouldn't change a thing.
It's part of us. And now I'm crying. It's part of us. My grandfather, my great-grandfather. Because of Lexington Hardware, we have everything we have. It has just given us tremendous opportunity. The guys all made it their thing. And it worked. Worked for everybody.
And with that, we can conclude. I appreciate it very much.
Jace, geez.
You see this hardware store? Well, it's on the swanky Upper East Side of New York, and the owner says business has been booming specifically because of 50 Shades of Grey.
I noticed a lot of this rope here going out probably 100 times more than it used to.
Soft nylon rope, perfect for bundles and apparently for bondage. And if that's what it takes to keep family-run hardware stores going, then that is fine with me.